As you know, the marathon bombings caused hundreds of serious traumatic injuries that victims will be dealing with for the rest of their lives. And for many, they've also caused invisible wounds. WGBH's Craig Lamalt tells us about a new effort to help some restore hearing they lost when the bombs went off.
It was Dave Fortier's first time running a marathon.
So the finish line's right there. I was right here.
As you can see him here, he was almost at the finish line when the first bomb went off. He says it felt like someone had hit both of his ears with bricks. Everything went oddly quiet, except for a loud ringing.
And that ringing sound is with me today. Yeah, that hasn't gone away.
It's annoying and distracting, and it's hard for him to sleep.
So you might fall asleep early at night, but then you're going to be awake for a few hours before you can fall back again.
That ringing is called tinnitus, or tinnitus, and it's not easily fixed.
This is a pathology that's rooted in the brain. It is not amenable to surgery, nor is it really ideally suited with some broad spectrum pharmaceutical. We need to come up with another approach.
And that's what Boston area hospitals are trying to do. The One Fund found that at least 100 bombing victims like Dave Fortier suffer from hearing damage. So the Mass Eye and Ear Infirmary is enrolling some of them in a clinical trial that's exploring a possible fix for tinnitus by using the brain's ability to rewire itself.
We need to coax the adult brain into an environment where it feels like it's being challenged, that there's something at risk, that it stands to benefit or might get punished.
Fortunately, that's exactly what video games do. So they created one.
So this is the sort of the default tinnitus sound.
The game's played on a tablet computer. They're not sure yet it'll work, but they're trying to turn the specific sound of the user's own tinnitus into the enemy.
They're learning to sort of isolate it from the other sounds and suppress it.
They're also trying out music therapy on bombing victims.
And I can listen to any music I'd like. I'll put on my headphones. Simple as that. And I'm listening to music and getting therapy at the same time.
Stephen Rennie was waiting for his daughter to cross the finish line when the bombs went off.
My eardrums were blown out by the sound wave of the blast. I don't really remember hearing it as much as the feeling of pressure in my ears that swept over me.
The music therapy filters out the frequency of Rennie's own tinnitus sound. The idea is that neurons tuned to other frequencies should take over, turning down the volume on the damaged neurons that are creating the noise. For that to work, Rennie had to zero in on the sound he hears.
All right, so I'll be able to hear what it is that you hear.
Something close to what I've been able to sort of focus in on through the program.
All right.
So now I'll press the play button.
That's terrible.
Rennie says he's gotten used to it now, but he'd like to turn down the volume on this constant reminder of what happened that day. And by taking part in the clinical trial, he's hoping he can ultimately help millions of others who are looking to reduce their own hearing problems. Craig Lamalt, WGBH News.
Right now, the Mass Eye and Ear trial is open only to the One Fund community, but they're looking to increase enrollment.